Hello, welcome to The Infinite X, a YouTube channel about RPGs and all things related. I'm Patrick, and today is just going to be a short intro video to the channel, since it's the first video, where I will give a quick overview about what kind of content I will put up on this channel and what the channel will be about. Let's start with some general info about the channel. If I would have to say it in one line, I would say it's about content creation for RPGs, refereeing, and playing them. Most of the videos will be made for GMs from the GM's perspective, but I will always try to include the player perspective when it makes sense, and I will probably also make some videos dedicated for the players. As game systems, we will be using BX and AD&D first edition, and also OSE, which is a retro clone, a combination of the two, BX and AD&D. But I will always try and explain it in a system agnostic way. But if we need like hard examples, we need to some rules, roll some dice, then I will use BX, AD&D, and OSE for the examples, switching between them. Let's get into the specifics. The first major category for the content I will provide for this channel would be general RPG topics. Just a few items from my list here. Combat, exploration, skill checks, spells, retainers, alignment, hazards and weather, traps and tricks, social encounters. Just a few examples. And those will be episodes where I will talk about these topics and give my advice, discussion, opinion, insight as a GM. The second category of the channel would be about world building and content design. For that, I will mostly focus on topics related to the sandbox style of play. For those of you who don't know what that is, the sandbox mode of play is the mode of play that the early versions of D&D were more directed towards. The newer versions are more focused on these long adventure paths, like modules, for example, Curse of Strahd or Descent into Avernus, which take you from level 1 to level 15 or 20 or whatever. And the sandbox style of play is more like the GM creates a small starting settlement and a few rumors. There's a castle with goblins there, there's a cave with ghosts there, and maybe a villager's wife has gone missing. They then decide on what they want to do, and based on that, the GM generates material around that. And so step by step, the world evolves around the decisions that the players made. We will talk about theory and practice related to this, to designing, running, and playing a sandbox. And we will also make a sandbox together and use that for the actual play part of the channel, which I will talk about in a second. Let me list you a few examples from my list for this world building part of the channel. That would be, for example, what is a sandbox, which will be the next episode I make, talking about what a sandbox actually is, going a bit more in detail. And we will also talk about and do dungeon and wilderness design, dungeon and wilderness adventuring, creating and populating settlements, landmarks and terrain features, creating and stocking hex maps, which are an integral part of the sandbox style of play, hex crawls versus point crawls, we will discuss that. We will talk about factions, types of adventures, random encounter tables, etc. And those videos will be where I create content for RPGs during the episodes. We do that together. I will explain that, and they will probably be a bit longer than the other videos. And just to make sure you're not misunderstanding me, the stuff that we will create and do here, you can use that for any kind of RPG system you want. For Pathfinder, Shadow Dark, the OSR systems, all the retro clones that are out there, for 5th edition D&D, 2024 edition D&D, earlier D&D editions. I will always try and explain stuff in system agnostic ways, the meaning of things, interpretations, insights that I gathered in my experience. And the world building stuff, you can use that in your 5th edition adventure modules as well. You can always just stop the module and insert some rumors. You can use factions. There will be factions anyway in these adventure modules. So it's just that some of these things that I will be talking about and that we will do together are more often used in the sandbox style of games compared to the like adventure modules. And the third kind of content I want to make for this channel would be actual play episodes. I will start a solo campaign using Old School Essentials, OSE, as the game system for the solo campaign, and also the sandbox that we will create together on this channel will serve as the world where the campaign plays in. This will serve very well as a showcase for the theory we are talking about, and also for my way of running a sandbox campaign. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is content sharing. Most of the stuff I will create on this channel will be available for free on my Patreon, but there will also be a premium section where people can get early access to content covered on the channel and also bonus content. So if you want to check that out, then feel free to. It's not finished yet and there isn't much on there, but I will try and get that going as quickly as possible. And I should also say that the book covers I put in the video earlier for BX, AD&D, and OSE, those are obviously not mine. I'm not the author. I have no copyright to them. And I'm also not sponsored by the authors. I just used them to show you which game systems I was talking about. And with that, we have already arrived at the end of the episode. Thanks a lot for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you are curious what's going to happen on this channel, if you're interested in RPG talk, in discussion, opinion, insights, my experiences, designing content for RPGs, then like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I would say see you next time at the Infinite Hex, and bye bye.